Hi everyone, welcome back to today's podcast. As you can see, we are in a brand new space. So let's talk about it. Hi everyone, welcome to today's podcast episode. I am your lovely host Jada, and we are going to be talking about, moving things. For all of the people out there who have moved, are about to move, thinking of moving, everything in between, I'm gonna just talk about it all. So as you can see, this space is mostly set up. There's still bits and pieces left. I'll kind of move to the side for you. As you can see, boxes are still on the floor. So as you can still see, I'm actually currently using my partner's setup because of the blue chair. My setup is finally next to, so I will show you actually. So we got my setup, the little desk area. She real simple, she real cute. But I thought we would just kind of talk about the highs and lows and everything in between of moving. So we had decided that we wanted to only stay in a rental, like our previous rental, for a year. We decided that shit from the get-go, right? So when we were given this phenomenal opportunity to take the house that we're now in, my partner and I, my lovely Matt, we jumped on it. The other two people we were living with were not as keen, but shit happens. We were like, we're gonna take this, and Matt's best friend moved in with us, and it has been it's only been a couple of days as of recording that we have been living here, but it's been phenomenal. We all feel so much happier, we all feel so much brighter, so much lighter, so much more just like we can breathe, which is really nice to kind of feel. And it's been really interesting seeing the difference in how much we have gone from feeling kind of closed in and like we didn't have a lot of space, to more open and just happy. So it was definitely the greatest decision we could have ever made. There is not a single doubt in my mind that we shouldn't have moved. It's been the best thing ever. Obviously the way we did it, makes it a bit difficult, but we gotta move on from that. I am just going to, there we go. I had some questions I was going to kind of talk about, so we're going to talk about it. So, first question is, moving is considered one of life's most stressful events. What is one practical, actionable tip to keep your sanity during packing? I work fairly differently to my partner Matt. I have to plan things out like a month or two in advance. I have things written out, like what am I packing, what am I not packing, what am I bringing, what am I not bringing. That helped me tremendously. The second part to that, I guess you could say, is I already pre-packed stuff that we were not going to use a week beforehand. So for example, I knew we're currently in summer, right? I'm not going to be using winter jackets, or I'm not going to be using winter attire. Why not just pre-pack that stuff? Why not pre-pack the books I've already read, or some board games I'm not going to use? The more I could pre-pack, the better. So then when it came to the day of, I could just chuck it all in a truck and go. This might be more of an Australian thing, but having a hiring truck for me personally was so much more stress relieving because I could take my time with it, I can save money, and I could get a bunch of friends to come and help out and just help us do all these things, and it became a fun kind of bonding experience. Definitely only recommend if you've got a lot of people who can help you. Otherwise, it can be a bit stressful. Just figure out when it comes to you, how do you best deal with new things in life? So for me, I take time. My partner, it was night before, he's packing all of his stuff, he's prepped and ready to go, and he was happy. Everyone's a little different. So the next one is, what is the best way to handle the emotional attachment to the old home while preparing for the new one? I think this one's a little bit easier for me because I have a weird thing with connections. I don't hold a lot of memory to the rental house itself. I have a connection more to items. So for me, I don't ever feel like I'm losing a home because I'm moving house. Because to me, the house is a structure. The home is the items you take with you. So that makes it a lot easier for me to be able to move around. Maybe that's just how my brain works, I don't know. Next question is, what is the most commonly forgotten item or task during a move that people regret? So let's say you're moving in on the 17th, right? On the 10th, so like 7 days before, 6 days before, however many days before you can do it, get your electricity, power, water, all of your utility, like even internet, up and going a couple of days earlier. Because then if, let's say for some reason, it takes the power company an extra day to sort things out, or if something goes wrong, you've got those buffer days. I would be more uncomfortable to pay the extra $5 for however much it is to have it on a couple of days before I move in, to know that everything is working. It saves me so much mental stress because I know I've got that sorted. Another thing as well is, again, this might be more of an Australian thing, but when you move house, you have to change your address on a lot of things, like your driver's license, like any legal documents. Do that. But in Australia, you get 2 weeks either side to do it. Just do it beforehand. It is so much better to do it beforehand. So then, after you've moved, you can focus all of your anxiety on unpacking everything. Most importantly for me, I love being able to move in on a Friday afternoon, because then I can spend the entire weekend focusing on unpacking, organizing. I'm not having to be like, oh God, I'm moving in on a Tuesday, and then I'm gonna get everything in the house and at least have a bed sorted, so then when I wake up I can go to work, come home and feel like I'm living in Box Kingdom. But you gotta do what you gotta do. What should immediately go into the open first box to make the first 24 hours easier? That's a good question. I think for me, the first box that I opened, well, for me, it was all like my fragile / memorabilia, because to me, a lot of my fragile stuff is stuff in memory of like my grandmother, or in memory of my grandfather, or in memory of my nana, and so I wanted to make sure that they survived the trip. I always get really anxious that the fragile things, anything that is fragile, is broken, so I always check those first. Once I know they're fine, I start focusing on one room at a time. So I would put all of like the glasses and mugs away. I would put all the kitchen stuff away, and then I would do all the bedroom stuff, and then I would do kind of the living room stuff sort of last, because that's like your board games, your figurines, those types of things, and that I didn't have to worry about as much. Whereas as long as the kitchen and bedroom stuff is sort of set up pretty early on, then you don't have to worry. How do you, or should you, prepare your new home before you actually move in? So we talked a little bit about that, but making sure all of your documents are in order, making sure that you know what day you're moving in, making sure all contracts are signed, and then if you're in a rental already, making sure you're getting your bond from that, or making sure all of those documents, pretty much making sure all documents are prepped and ready to go. The sooner you can do that, the better. What is your best tip for decluttering without becoming completely overwhelmed? My best way when it comes to decluttering, when it comes to moving, is as you're putting stuff into boxes to pack up to move, go, am I going to use this in the new home? If you pick up something and go, oh, I haven't worn this in 6 years, probably time to say goodbye. Or, if you go, oh, do I really want this in my new home? As soon as you have any sort of doubt in your brain, just get rid of it. I definitely have plenty of stuff where when I was moving, I was like, I haven't seen this forever. I haven't thought about it forever. I can just get rid of it. Or, just be like, oh, I don't use this. Or I've got 3 of these. Let's donate 1 or 2 of them, or give my friend one, whatever it is. Because as you're packing, you can get rid of stuff because you're going through everything anyway. And vice versa. I know a lot of my friends, when they unpack everything, as they're unpacking, they'll go, oh, I don't want this. This doesn't work in this new house. Or I just don't want that environment. I don't want this in this environment. Put it in a box that I'm going to donate. Either or can work well. What are some hidden or overlooked costs of moving home that people should budget for? Definitely movers. If you're going to move it yourself, is it a moving truck? Is it buying food for friends? Is it the moving people? And most importantly, when you move house, all the little things that you might be missing. So, for an example, because we were living with other people, we left certain things behind, or, they had certain things. And so when we got here, we're like, oh, we're missing measuring spoons or measuring bowl or, a cooking tray, or all these little things that add up over time that you need. So it's always good to either kind of make a list. So as you're like unpacking stuff, being like, oh, we need eggs, we need, glass cleaner, we need whatever. You're gonna have stuff that's missing. You're gonna have stuff that you're gonna be like, oh, I didn't buy that. I didn't realize I should have that. Just don't stress yourself about it. Know it's gonna be a cost and just write a list. I try and always put money aside so when I move in, I know I'm going to spend a good chunk of money on bits and pieces. So make sure you have that kind of prepped and ready to go. How can people use a move as a financial refresh? So by doing that, you kind of can look at all of your bills. But a lot of the times I tend to be the mother of the house. I will have all of the bills. I will have all of the kind of, utility stuff come to me and then go out of our joint renting account. So I'm always double checking, could we get a better electricity option? Could we get a better, gas option? Could we get better internet deal? And so when I'm doing that, I'm like, well, I might as well just check, is there a subscription that I'm not using anymore? Could I get rid of this? Can I change this? It's just a good time. While you're looking at one thing, you might as well look at the rest. For someone deciding whether to renovate their current home or sell and buy a new one, what are the top 3 factors they should consider? The number one factor you should consider is the market. Realistically, if you sold your house now, would you be making 1.5 to 2 times more than what your house currently is? I think no matter what, always redecorating, always redoing things in your home is a positive, even if it's just a lick of new paint, even if it's just rearranging the room, even if it's just, hey, the shower head's kind of crusty, let's change that. Those little things can make a big difference. Selling and buying a new home is a lot, and I don't even own my own home yet. And looking at how much it is to build, it's crazy. So work with the space you got and try and make it the best you can. If you could have paid a professional to do only one part of your move, which part would it be? I don't know. I think that's tricky because I really like organizing. So I wouldn't do organizing. I wouldn't do moving. So I really like that sort of fun get together with friends activity. I think the only thing I would get someone to do was like finalize, make sure they go through all my documents and be like, have I changed addresses for everything? Have I gotten my bond back? Have I paid everything I needed to pay? So making sure all the financial stuff is in check, I guess. What is one piece of furniture what is one piece of furniture you brought that you regret instantly bringing? I don't regret bringing it, but like my desk I currently have is just kind of a little bit flimsy and a little bit shitty, and I'm going to be getting this current desk once he gets a new one, because I love this desk a lot. So it's just a lot of like, I wish he would buy a desk sooner so I could have this one, so I didn't have to bring that, because it's kind of flimsy and shitty. But I don't regret bringing it. It's just more like I wish I didn't have it sort of thing. What is your ultimate moving day meal or reward? It's a rough day. We have this tradition in my family where every time I move, we always get pizza. We always sit on the floor or sit on the couch and eat pizza after every move. Like the night of moving, it's always pizza night. And it's such a fun little tradition. It's just something really simple. It's normally my parents and me, or it's, my parents and me and a couple of friends, whoever's helped me move. We all have pizza, we all sit around and we just relax together. I think that's such a good way to just decompress, and any food tastes amazing, especially after you've been moving a lot of heavy stuff all day long. Something about pizza, the freshness, the hotness, the cheesiness, the sauciness, just all the different flavors hits the spot perfectly. I cannot highly suggest like a hot food or hot refreshing food after a meal. I know it doesn't make sense because you've been moving all day, you're hot and sweaty. Something about just sitting down, eating a pizza, honestly makes everything so much better. What was the main trigger point for your move? Or did you want more space, a better location, or a lifestyle change? We definitely wanted more space. We're kind of wanting this to be our kind of last rental for the next 2 years, and then that's it. So we wanted to have a rental where we had plenty of space. We felt like we could be ourselves, where we could, have all of our passions and interests and hobbies on display and not hidden in a room. We wanted everything to be, we wanted to breathe. We wanted to feel like we had life again. We wanted to feel like it's not just us being roommates shoved in a room. It's us being a couple sharing a home together. And those are really important details to realize, is that, living with a couple is not the easiest thing. And I get that. Especially when you're living with friends or maybe more one person's versus the others, it makes things very complicated. So even just having a little bit more space made so much difference. And it honestly has made both of us so much happier. I cannot recommend it enough. What is the one thing you wish you had done differently before moving into your new home? I think the one thing I wish I did differently was kind of preparing the fact that while a lot of the stuff we moved over from the old house was definitely stuff that I owned, they would still be bits and pieces. And the fact that in the politest way possible, we're all still young, so we're going to react certain ways. We're going to, be a little bit childish or be a little bit throwing a tantrum or having all these reactions, because for a lot of us, it's our first time living at a home. And for me, I've been at a home for 6 years now, so I kind of understand things a bit more. But kind of battling all the different personalities can be quite exhausting, especially with somebody like me who kind of needs that consistent quiet space. I didn't have that in my last space, and so I was very adamant to make sure I could have a moving space in this home. I could have a space where I could breathe, where I could figure out what exactly it is that makes me happy, what exactly it is that, a space where when I'm having a tism freak out, like when we were moving into this house, I had a really bad sensory overload moment, and I had to just step outside, sit down, wrap myself in a blanket that I managed to find, and just breathe. and just like really, really take some time. Even to the point where like my friends who were helping me move, who know me quite well, saw that I was having a moment, and instead of just coming up being like, oh my God, are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. They from a distance were like, hey, do you want me to come over? And I was like, that's fine. And they came over and they're like, you want some water? What will make you calm right now? And I was like, I just need to sit. I just need a couple of minutes. Please don't let anybody bother me. If I'm not out in 10, come get me. And they're like, perfect. And I was out within like 5 minutes. I just needed that space to just shut up, sit in a corner and just go, because I was surrounded by people who I know really well, but also didn't really know as well, who I wasn't sure what mask to put on. And so it was all these different levels of like, what am I doing? While also trying to decorate an entire house I haven't seen since, the inspection, and I haven't done a lot of these things, and it's just exhausting. And a lot of these things are quite tiring. And I don't blame anybody who wants to just get a move list in. It's so much easier. For me, I need to be able to like know where things are. I had a move list for the first time and they were great. I had no issues with them. It was just, they're quite expensive here. I think like per hour, some of them are like almost $100 an hour. When we hired a truck for 12 hours, I think, no, like 24 hours, and it was like $80. We're broke college kids, broke uni/uni graduate kids. What do you think we're gonna pick? We're gonna pick the cheaper answer. So that's just how we are, unfortunately. So you gotta figure out how to look after yourself, how to just breathe and take those moments. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about like autism focused questions. So as an example, for the pre-move, one of the questions I have are, what are the most effective ways to introduce the idea of moving to an autistic child without triggering severe anxiety? I need my time. I need to see the place. My help is a whiteboard. I need to write it all out. I had a full breakdown because I was trying to do so much math in my head, and I'm not very good at math. I had a whiteboard and I wrote it all out. I have another whiteboard I wrote down in color coordination. What are the big items? What are the stuff in the kitchen? What is this stuff? Where is everything? Writing it out for me makes me so much happier. And especially after writing it all out, even just something as simple as going, I've written it all out, I'll grab my partner and I go, hey, I know you know this already, but I'm going to talk at you. I'm going to go, this is what we need to bring from these rooms. This is how much this is going to cost. This is how much this is going to cost. Does this make sense? And all I need him to go is, yeah. And I'm like, cool, leave. Because I'm writing it out, I'm talking it out. And I just got to let myself ride with the emotion, whatever I'm feeling. Because it's going to take me a while to process it. Even if it's something I really wanted, it still takes me a hot minute to process it. So the next part is, how can we involve our autistic child or autistic adult in the packing process to give them a sense of control? I love packing because I know where things are and I know the correct order in things, how things should go. So one of my main ones for me is, I have to pack my books. I do not care who packs the kitchen stuff, but I have to pack my books. I need to put them in alphabetical order. I need them to go in a certain box. I need to visually see myself put them in the box and tape it up and write on the box what it is. I don't care about a lot of things, it's just the books. I need my partner to put his figurines away, his Warhammer, his Flames of War, so I know that they're safe. Because if I do it, I'm going to panic, I'm going to break it. There are certain key things that just I have to do. I really cannot stress how much I hate when people touch my books. It's just better if I do it. There are very, very few people who can touch my books, and I'm counting 2 people I could potentially leave the room and know that they won't destroy my books. And that is even a debate. So books is just my thing. Whatever your person has an interest in, whatever their obsession is, let them pack said thing. The next question is, for some autistic individuals, being present on moving day is too chaotic. Is it better to have them stay with someone else, or is it better to get them involved? I think it's a lot better getting them involved. Yes, they're going to get overwhelmed. Yes, they're going to panic. Yes, they're going to freak out. But it is better for them to know, and for me in particular, it is better for me to visually see where things are going. I don't want 1 minute I'm in a house and the next second everything's gone and put in a new space and I don't know where anything is. Even if everything is labelled and is in a room they should be in, I would rather visually see, okay, they're going into this truck. The truck is going here. I'm seeing them come out of the truck. I am telling the people, put it in this room. I then can track where those things are. I can have headphones on. I can have loops in my ears. I can dissociate, whatever it is. But if I can visually track where it's going, I'm so much happier. And if I get overwhelmed, like I said before, there is nothing to stop me from having 5 minutes outside and breathing. I as well, when it comes to moving days, I'm always wearing extremely comfortable clothes. I always have a plushie on hand. I always have water on hand. But you'll always see like plushies right there. You can see one holding that there. I have a water bottle on my desk. I'm wearing a super comfortable shirt. I'm always wearing something that, will keep me in a comfortable state. And if I get overwhelmed, I can step aside and it's okay. The next one is, what is the best way to recreate a sense of safety and routine in a new, unfamiliar environment? So one of the things could just be setting up the bedroom the same as it was before. I have our bedroom set up pretty similar. This one's a lot bigger of a bedroom, so the only difference is instead of everything being really cramped, a little bit more spaced out, the layouts are the same. I have to have my wardrobe set up a certain way. It has to be in a color coordination. So I do my wardrobe in a color coordination. My partner lets me do it in a color coordination because he knows he can just chuck all of our clothes in the wardrobe and then basically grab me and go, fix it. Do what you need to do, make yourself happy right now. And I will put on music and just speed roll it. And it makes me so happy that I can just do that. Being able to do the same thing, like I put cups in a certain section, I put my mugs in a certain section, all my paired mugs are on one shelf, all my non-paired mugs are on a different shelf. Having those certain routines makes it more comfortable. I know the house isn't the same, but it also helps that both houses have the white walls and the dark carpets. Both houses are a semi-similar layout in terms of like where the bedrooms are. It's just a lot more elongated and wider. So while some things are different, it's nice to still see that a lot of the things are similar too. You just got to figure out what's their thing that makes them really excited and get them to focus on that. I think that tends to help a lot. Next is, how do we handle the inevitable behavior regression or outburst following a move? When they tend to, for me, I tend to get quite grumpy, not aggressive, but just really grumpy, really angry, really snappy, really quick to be angry because everything is in an unfamiliar environment, unfamiliar spaces, and I get really agitated because I don't know what anything is. So I gotta let myself feel those emotions, but have my sensory corners. You'll see the beanbag behind right here. And there's a blanket there. There's a ledge there so I can put water on, and it's right behind my partner's desk. So if he wants to game, I can still be near him, but not be directly sitting on him. Or having those, like I've got a space in our bedroom with a sensory area. I've got a space, in the living room that's a sensory area. I have all these little pockets of space where I can just sit and freak out if need to. You can't stop the freak out. That's just realism. I will freak out. You're not going to stop me. You need to then just go, okay, let them freak out for the next 24, 48 hours and just give them the space to feel comfortable to do that. The last thing, at least for me anyway, the last thing I want is to have these freakouts that I cannot control and then hear, oh, she's just having a meltdown. I'm not having a meltdown. I just cannot control the fact that my body doesn't know what's happening and is shutting down. Last two is, how can we help our autistic child or adult build new routines? And if there's new environments, new schools, new communities, those things. A lot of those things is, I really love when I'm going, for example, when I took a new job on, I kept going to that place before I started. So I knew what directions to go, what routes to take. I know, okay, that's my office right there. I know that's where my car park is. I know if I take this road here, here, and here, this is going to be bumpy. I know there's 6 of them. So after the 6th one, I'm almost at my workplace. Having those little indicators, even if it's something as simple as the new school, there's, I don't know, let's say there's now a new playground next to it. You can go, oh, take them to the new school before it all starts and then take them to the playground. See how this playground is right near your school. Build those connecting blocks. I am a person who needs connections. It's like, I know how to get to this house because there's a roundabout, a double roundabout. So I know you got to go left and left. You're doing a big U shape. I'm visually drawing in my head. We drove to this house a couple of times. As soon as we found out we had the place, when we were driving to it, saying from here to here, this is how we get there, from here to here. And we went at different times. We went during the day, at night, afternoon, morning. So it's not all just during the day. Because if I was trying to then come here at night, I'd have no idea where I was going. So going at all these different time frames helped tremendously. Highly recommend doing that for any situations. Lastly, for autistic adults moving into independent living, what specific supports are needed to make the transition less overwhelming? I'm a little bit of a different case. I technically should be having a social work supporter, but I don't. I'm in that weird in between of, I could definitely use one, but I've managed to click into, and I managed to click into this human facade quite well, and I rely quite heavily on my partner for a lot of things. So one of the things that definitely helps when I moved out of home, because I didn't have my partner at the time, was having a lot of my friends really close by. My support bubble became my clutches, probably a lot more than they should have been, but that's what helped me kind of get through those steps. That's what helped me get from point A to point B so I could go the rest of the way. It's very overwhelming and tricky and scary moving, but it will be the best thing you'll ever do, because moving from an environment you're not very happy with or don't feel like you're wanted or needed to a space where you feel not really wanted and needed, but also that you can belong there, will make your mental health space so much better, and you'll feel a lot lighter and a lot happier. And honestly, I really recommend it. If you can, move into that rental, move into that new house, even if you're just moving rooms, rearrange your room, whatever it is. I really, 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 really recommend it. It's the greatest thing ever. I really recommend it. So that's kind of the questions I had for moving. You'll see different backgrounds here and there, predominantly in this room and probably our bedroom. We'll see. But I just thought I would talk about kind of some moving questions. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. Do you have any horror stories? I definitely have some horror stories from rentals that I may or may not talk about at a different time, but holy, moving's a doozy, but totally worth it. Anyway, I'm going to leave this podcast here. Thank you all so much for listening. Love y'all very much and look after each other. And I'll see you then. Bye.